Hello and welcome to We Got a podcast about Dragon Ball from A to Z, from Earth to Namek to Sadala. We cover it all. My name is Randy.
And I'm Toy Store Doug.
And I'm Sugaro Ken.
Ooh, I like this energy. We're the world's strongest under the heavens trio de dangers here every other week to talk your ear off about fights, goofs, and everything else in the Dragon Ball cosmos. Doug, how are you doing, man? What's new?
I'm doing fantastic, man. People can see me now. Isn't that less pressure for me to have to... Can the audience now tell that Randy wakes me up 30 seconds before time to record and I come out of this bed and just get on the mic and start recording?
I sure hope the video version actually comes out.
So that people can see.
Right. I guess cat's out of the bag. We're going to try recording a thing here. Was that cat in a bag? I didn't know. I thought that was. Yeah, I don't think you were here when Ken and I were talking about it. I think you were doing camera setup.
It's like, hey, let's do a podcast. Just let's not mention we're on a video, just in case we don't release it like that. Yeah, sure, let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna make a click here. Sorry.
No, I love that.
See, this is all staying in the video version. So when you watch the YouTube version, you get to see everything that stays. That Randy cuts out. So there will be two edits of the show. Yeah. There's going to be the long uncut version where all the awkward silences, where we just kind of consider whether we hate each other or not. Those are all left in.
Yeah.
The Spotify version that Randy does, he lovingly crafts all the audio out and takes
Seems like we're just perfect linguistics. Yeah. Linguisters, whatever. Randy, you can show on camera now the clicker when you do it.
Oh, yeah. My special dog training tool that I use. And then when I do this, it's how I know what I need to do. Doug is looking around like, where to go? Is there a treat involved? Who knows?
Figures?
That's what it's for. But Doug, how are you doing? What's new?
Everything's good. Nothing new. I keep thinking I'm not on a video podcast. I bought a new chair that I do not have yet, but I will have sometime soon.
Ooh, do you know how soon is soon?
It's coming out like June 8th. Like it's on pre-order. It's a Secret Labs chair, one that you and Ken have.
Right.
You guys convinced me, and it's the Attack on Titan variant.
Oh,
so it is coming out in June.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
I think you and the listeners will love how quiet these Secret Labs chairs are.
They're great.
Yeah, compared to what I have now, and yeah.
Yeah, I was doing a spot pass, or I listened to the whole I listened to every episode that we record, because there's such wonderful edits that Randy does. But I was listening to it. Randy was having some syncing issues, so I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. And there's parts where I could just hear your chair in it. And,
really?
Yeah, and Randy was like saying sorry he didn't do audio noise suppression or something.
Yeah, I didn't do a noise removal pass, and I was struggling with other things that I didn't really do a manual pass for Doug chair sounds or Doug mic bumps, which is what most of my time is spent doing.
Just be like, I'm very down here because there's no video, so I was like bumping the table.
But who knows what his hands are doing?
I like some of that stuff being kept in, like when you're listening to the audio, almost that you feel like you're in a space with people.
Right. Yeah, I like that too.
See, I'm the weird one. I'm like, no, it must be pristine. They are in some sort of podcast void that I can never achieve, and that's how it is. Ken,
that's how I'm doing. I'm excited.
Good. Ken, what about you?
Well, there's one thing I've been doing that we're going to talk about later in the episode that we have all been doing. Other than that, I mean, really, the only thing I've been doing separately is that I have started building a model kit. I built a few over the years, several, I would say. I started building Magnamon from Digimon.
Whoa,
yeah.
Cool as hell.
Yeah. He's pretty great.
I love that little dude.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Magnamon. He was in the movie, and then
right,
and then he was in one of the episodes. But
I just know I know Vmon, but I forget the names of what he digivolves to.
Yes, when he had the golden egg. Well, normally he would turn into Flame Dramon, and then Ryildramon. It's like lightning.
I remember Pile Dramon, but that might
was
be the DNA Digivolve form of him and
I do actually have
DNA Digivolve too. Man, what a fun show.
I remember at the time everyone said they hated season 2, and I think that's probably just because season 3 was so good. But season 2 to me, like I loved, Davis, Daisuke, Vmon specifically, I really loved. I love like X Vmon, and then, dude, I mean, Imperial Dramon. Come on, Imperial Dramon fighter mode. Give me a break, dude. One of the coolest guys.
I love any Digimon that goes from quadriplegic to
quadriplegic. You mean quadruped?
Nope.
No.
When they're in a wheelchair, that's what when they Digivolve. That's what I love.
Anyways, so I also have like do you guys remember those old Digimon figures that were like about yay high or so, like 2 inches high? They would sell them in like 12 packs at Walmart. And
okay.
It'd be like you get a whole bunch at once. I have like a huge, so you know those jars that they put those animal crackers in at the store? I have one of those, and it's just filled to the brim with those Digimon figures. And I've always been wanting to do like a stream with another one of my friends where I pull him out and see if he can see how many of them he can name. And he's like a big Digimon nut. Shouts out, I would always want to do a stream with him to see if he could name, all of them.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
That'd be good times, man. That's good.
Digimon's I used to have Digimon fan fiction that I wrote.
You would, of course, you would. What's the but like cool, not cool fan fiction, not raunchy or anything, right?
No, hey, let's not.
Well, considering I was like 11,
right.
Say
that wasn't the demographic.
Yeah, it was not raunchy at all.
Right.
It was, everyone wrote their fan fiction in the Tamers world in season 3 because that was the season that established that there were Digidestined all across the world.
That anyone could have one.
Yeah,
basically.
anyone could have one.
Yeah,
you could say they did that with season 2 as well, with like Wallace, and he had Lopmon and Terriermon. But season 3, like one of the big things about that season was that everyone was around the world became Digidestined. So
that makes sense. It's kind of
even having you like there. Where they went from like 4-legged to 2-legged, which is what I meant. I'm just trying to.
We know
quadriplegic.
My partner Digimon?
Tell us.
Candlemon.
Okay.
Who, of course, becomes Meramon, the big fire guy.
Yeah. Ken and Candlemon. Unless you had a different name in your...
No, of course. It was Kenny.
Okay,
because I was 11 at the time.
Oh, that's you were a Kenny? Aw.
Well, I still am, actually. Most people who know me in real life do call me...
Really?
Do call me Kenny to my face, yeah, so it's...
Wow.
I go by all
Should
three,
we...
So...
Are we allowed to do that?
You can. Listen. I do not care. Kenneth, Ken, Kenny, whichever one you feel comfortable with.
Kennifer.
You can use.
I'm gonna call it Kennifer.
And every time I meet another Kenneth, I always ask them. I say, "Do you get people who ask you which one of these do you go by?" And they say every single one of them says yes. So it is something about Kenneth, right? That people look at us and they're unsure what to call us. And it's something about
I'm
our
so
name.
Sorry you have that name. What do you want me to call you?
If I meet a Charles, I'm not like, Charles, do you go by Charlie or Chuck? No, it's just like you introduce yourself as Charles. But if I introduce myself as Kenneth, they're like, oh, you go by Kenny or Ken? And it's like, I don't know what it is. And this is not a problem I have with anyone. It is a universal fact. And I'm sure
you know who you are.
There's a Kenneth listening to this right now going, oh my God, yeah.
It's so relatable.
He likes to
Dragon Ball, but oh my God.
He likes to be called Kenny. That listener just wanted to let
No, but I mean I don't get it as often, I guess is what you're saying, but like they say, do you go by Douglas or Doug? I hear that all the time. How is that any different than what you're talking about though?
Because I have 3 big ones. Unless they also said Douglas or Dougie.
Right.
I have 3.
That's just for the ladies.
There's 3 like popular versions of what. William, you also probably get that with Bill, Billy, and Liam. But if I met someone named Liam and found out their name was actually William, well, I'm not going to say anything because Liam might be listening.
I'd say that's good branding, You
if they introduce themselves as William, I feel like you just call the person William. There's no like alternatives unless they bring it up. But anyway.
Enough name discourse.
Randy, how are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing pretty good. I'm trying to think of what else has been on the docket besides the thing that we'll definitely talk about later. And there really hasn't been. I've just been...
It's consumed your life.
Oh God, I got my playtime unlocked today on the Switch. I'm like, oh Jesus, okay, this is my life now. But we're gonna talk about Zelda later, but we got to talk about Dragon Ball because that's what people come. That's what the people come here for, and we know that we're going to be talking about something very soon, and we figured let's use this episode to visit our relationship with Dragon Ball GT because we're going to talk about it here coming up soon.
Can we pull the curtain back just a little bit and show people? Okay, so this was originally going to be the first episode of us actually reviewing GT. But Zelda happened, and so none of us did our homework.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, it is why.
None of us had time to do it, or let's just be honest, or interest to do it.
No.
So then, even just as early as today, Randy and I were like, "What are we gonna record about?" And I was like, "I know."
As soon as you were like, "Oh well, I can squeeze in those GT episodes if you guys are down for it too," I'm like, "What the fuck is he talking about? There's no way I'm doing that."
Well, because yesterday I had popped into the group chat and I'm like, I don't know about anybody else, but I have not done the homework yet, and I'm okay with putting it off. But if somebody else has done the homework, then I'll put in the work to do it myself.
Oh yeah, because Ken, you made like a image for it, like a thumbnail or something that had the title on there, like Doug reviews GT. I'm like,
No,
Doug does what?
That was just a placeholder for
Right. Are you having me so freaked out?
Yeah.
Doug never knows what we're talking about when we come.
As Randy's like, we're gonna talk about this today. I'm like, what are we talking about today? I have no idea.
It's part-time podcast host. Most of the time, Doug Wrangler is what I feel like. Running the show is. He's a wild, free spirit. I can't hold him down.
I have naps that need to be done, Randy.
Well, you also do wine tastings and don't show up to Mario Kart nights.
Time.
You also go on trips to other countries, so.
Wow, it made my life seem way more exciting than it actually is, or maybe it is more than I'm realizing.
You know what I did this weekend and all this past year? Sat on my ass, played video games, Doug.
Played Zelda, yeah, the best. Yeah, that sounds. I wish I did that actually.
You're selling yourself short. You were saving Hyrule.
Exactly.
Yeah, I am a hero. You know who else is a hero? Goku. And that's why he gets his own time.
Nice.
In Dragon Ball Goku time. Dragon Ball.
Your segues are legendary, man.
Yeah, that's what it stands for. It's a very original joke. So, guys, Dragon Ball GT. I'm sure most people who listen to the show, I would assume, know. Dragon Ball GT started airing right after Dragon Ball Z ended and lasted for 64 episodes and one TV special that continued the story of what happens post Z after the 25th. Do I have that number right? Budokai?
28th.
28th. Okay. Gotcha.
Consult Mike on that, but yeah.
Right. 25th is at the start of the Buu arc, right?
The Buu arc, yeah. And then 26th and 27th happen off screen.
Gotcha. So, continues the story there. Goku is off training Oob, and there's some shenanigans with Pilaf and that whole gang, and things just blossom from there. And
they blossom?
Oh, do they? So it's a sequel to Z. Does not have a manga original. That's a whole new thing. It's original, not an adaptation of anything. So, we're going to talk about it. We're going to jump in and we're going to be watching the show in episode chunks. I think what we should do is we decide what episodes we're going to watch. We'll tweet them out so that way you guys have time. The listeners will have time to watch it with us if you'd like, and then we'll talk about it there. So next episode we'll be talking about episodes 1 through 5 of GT. I don't think we're going to be doing that many as often, but the first 2 episodes are just kind of like setting things up, and then episodes 3, 4, and 5 are their own kind of mini arc. So I didn't want to break that up, so I figured we would do those 5 as a starting point, and that'll be good times. Doug, tell me about your experience with GT.
Immediately, I saw it back when I was a dubby. I guess most of us were at the time, maybe. But I didn't transition over yet. But so I watched it with the Mark Menza music, which was just, man, it made it even worse. It just it felt very soulless as a series, and the Last House production was in full effect. Like it because everything was like more computer drawn. It became more obvious when Last House took over and how bad it was compared to other studio artists that drew. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure the entire series was cell animated. I don't think there was a lot of computer
Computer. Well, I guess
digital.
the coloring or whatever, just the look of it was a lot more cleaner, so it was a lot more
Mm.
obvious whenever Last House was doing stuff.
Yeah, everyone's a lot shinier in GT.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
super shiny.
I think that's
Not
a
the
function.
robots, but like the humans too.
I think that's a function of Nakatsuru kind of being more into character shading with highlights because he was the one who did the character designs for GT, right? It wasn't Yamamuro yet. He was doing the movies until GT started. Ken, do you have any knowledge on that whole thing?
I think Nakatsuru started taking over at the end of Boo as
Right.
character designer.
Right.
But then he was in GT.
Right. So yeah, there's people are more shiny. And Doug, did you watch the whole thing, start to finish?
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
dub?
I was
Okay.
there every day. I don't know how often it aired. Was it once a week or was it the same like
I
every
think
weekday?
it was Saturday afternoons or evenings or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think Toonami had started because I remember it was around the time they were airing Kenshin, and they'd started doing a Saturday block that had specific shows, and I want to say I think GT was part of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have been a time during like when DVR was a thing. So I would just like record it on my DVR and then watch it on my own time, kind of deal. Because I wasn't like wanting to like get to it. Like, oh, what's gonna happen next? I barely followed along,
Right.
especially since they started at like 25 episodes in with their lost episodes, like without showing lost episodes.
So the lost
whole
episodes
deal.
are the first 16, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And there is actually. Did you guys ever buy the DVDs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I didn't pick it up officially until the Green Bricks came out.
yes,
There it is.
I don't know if the Green Bricks included or not, but on the first, so I'm holding up a copy of the first Dragon Ball GT DVD released in America.
Now that's not just called Volume 1 because these
no.
things had their own fun titles.
Yeah, so they were called like Affliction, Incubation, Conversion, Transformation.
Everything had
yeah, it was
ending
always
in
shuns. Yeah, and the first one that came out included. So these were like they were doing mostly 3 episodes a disc. But this first one that came out had 3 episodes plus like a little 20-minute special called geez, I don't know. I think it's called just A Grand Problem, which is probably what they ended up calling the first episode as well.
Which is like a summary of the original.
Yeah, and they
starting.
title it as a bonus introduction to GT, which I did not watch it before we started recording here, but I believe it just goes straight through the Black Dragon Ball arc and skips over everything just to get you familiar with M2 and Giru and Pan and Trunks and everything.
Which we didn't miss much, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it'd be strange to jump into an episode as like, why is Goku tiny? You know?
I think it's interesting that they did that because when you... So I haven't seen GT all the way through. I have seen, I would say probably most of the episodes, but not in chronological order. GT for me was something that like I started... So when Dragon Ball Z, when I became a fan of Dragon Ball Z, right? That was around the time I was starting to use the internet. So 99, and then into 2000. So I was going to like, of course I was going to Daizenshu EX, of course. And then I was also going to like planetnamek.com, and around the time I was going to dragonballtoys.com and various other places. The Pojo, I don't know if you guys remember that.
Pojo, yeah.
But
yes, sir.
These websites would have these clips from the series of all the different series, but what I felt like they had a lot more of was GT clips. And I would always download the Real Media file clips. See, kids, back in the day, there's something called Real Media Player, and it was these .rm files that would only work in that.
Oh god, yeah, that was so annoying.
Yeah, and you were always just kind of like heartbroken when you'd go to a place that had a bunch of clips and find out they were all Real Media files.
But man, when you found one and it was .mov, oh man, what a day you were having.
And so there was this one clip of when Goku transforms into Super Saiyan 4 that's just like burnt into my memory because that was one of the GT clips I downloaded and watched. So I totally forgot where I was going with this, but I think it makes sense that when the series started in Japan, right? It's the first arc of the series is meant to emulate the original arc of Dragon Ball, right? They're on a grand search. I'm not going to say it.
Mystical
search.
adventure.
Yeah, they're on a mystical adventure to find these space Dragon Balls, and so they're trying to mirror that. And of course, in Japan, the people who started with Dragon Ball and have read it and everything, they would understand that reference. But here, a lot of people started at Raditz, and even though Dragon Ball was either had already aired or was airing at that point on Toonami, they may not have been watching it, so that would have totally been lost on them. Plus, coming from the momentum of the Boo arc, I think you lose a lot going straight into this search for the Dragon Balls. Of course, hey, this episode is gonna be a great time capsule for us, because as we go through the series, and then like we may come out this on the other end feeling totally different about however or whatever preconceived notions we might have going into this. Anyways, so I understand why Funimation did this. To get back to my original point, is that they wanted to get to the action, right? And they wanted to get straight to when Giru betrays everyone, and the Rild stuff starts, and Dr. Mew, and going straight into babies. So they wanted to get like when the action starts hitting, and I understand that. I think it makes a lot of sense to do this for basically what was going to be a throwaway product in the end, because they knew this was not hundreds of episodes long. So let's just get this out. Let's get to what people will probably think is the best part of it, and then just leave them with that impression.
Yeah. I guess I can't fault them for that marketing choice, because, you know, it makes sense for the audience. I think it's still just kind of sucks for people to be like, well, we're going to withhold these episodes. And at the time, like, who knows if we were going to ever see, you know, those,
I mean, that is the genius of the marketing when they're like, oh, now we got these lost episodes you guys haven't had before, and here you're gonna buy them. I'm like, oh yes, I'm gonna buy them. That's what I did. Like, I was like, yes, hell yeah.
The lost episodes should be the withheld episodes, because nobody lost them.
Episodes,
they lost them. They just kept them in a closet.
No one ever lost them.
But yeah,
they should have stayed lost.
It's funny because someone getting into the series now will just never know about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just have the whole thing. Just like, you know, nowadays, you know that Z is 291 episodes. It's not
276.
What was it? 276. Yeah, exactly. You know, things are different now.
Even then, I think a lot of the right moves were made with the way Saban, or I guess it was still Funimation, then chopped up those episodes to get that episode with the dinosaur or the robot. Those are not good episodes, and so to skip past a lot of that filler in the Cyan arc, I think
they're good episodes, independent episodes, but I know what you mean. They're not good for engaging American audience.
Yeah. When you know that Goku and Vegeta fighting is on the horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that robot episode is so good, though.
Robot episode was top tier, man.
But now we know where
I was
Ken
just
stands.
learning how to love.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, GT, I have seen it all at least twice. I want to say it at least twice, because originally how I saw them,
he's getting something.
Oh, yeah.
He's moving.
He's
secret lab
shifting
chair
around.
Getting jealous.
Okay, so this is my fan subs that I bought when I was 14.
What the hell are you holding?
You paid money for that.
I paid money for these. So these are all
it's a binder.
Discs that just have numbers on them. And they were just discs.
They didn't even draw art on them like I used to?
They didn't. So they just wrote...
like I used to, you said?
What's on each episode. I know that's backwards. But GT looks like that's disc 1 and 2. And unfortunately... So these were shrink wrapped as just discs. There was no jewel cases. It was just discs shrink wrapped with pieces of paper set on top. It's like, here's the episodes that are on what disc. And unfortunately, in my eagerness to open them, the top one is torn up rather bad.
Dude, there's something so nostalgic about that, though. Like just the way we had to consume media in like CD-ROMs,
and let me tell you, the format. All real media, baby.
All real media.
Can you even still find the player for it?
So VLC, I believe, actually opens them.
Really? You just do everything. It's great.
Yeah.
So I was relying on Windows Movie Movie Player back then, and with RM files, I don't think you could edit in Movie Maker, so I couldn't make AMVs with them either. So why? No.
That's another reason why I was always so heartbroken. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it was wild because this had, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and then there's a disc that's got the movies and OVAs, and then weirdly, that disc also has just some random bonuses. Like, here's the first 6 episodes of Tenchi Muyo, and like, here's some clips from Tenchi
Nice.
Universe and some other random anime stuff. I'm like, that's weird.
They're
It's
trying
not
to
like
get you
they're
to buy the new product.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
guess.
Got you hooked in now.
Where did you
But-
buy that from? Like just some random website or a friend?
eBay.
or
Just
eBay?
some dude on eBay.
Just on eBay. Wow.
Yeah. It was, I think, $30 or something like that. And I was like, the whole fucking series for $30? Dad, buy these for me.
Hey, it's not bad. That's not bad in the day. I bought all my the DVDs that Ken showed, the Affliction, Resurrection, whatever. I bought all those on eBay too. And like $15 a pop, instead of like 25 or 30 that was going like on my local Suncoast. Remember Suncoast?
Oh,
So
yeah.
we didn't have a DVD player for a long time.
Oh.
So I was in the process of like downloading Naruto episodes back in the day, but those were like 178 megabytes per episode.
Yep.
So I couldn't just keep those on a computer that only had like a 4 gigabyte hard drive, you know.
Burn them to CDs.
So I burned them to CDs, and you could only fit 3 episodes per CD.
Yep.
So I have a
Nice.
huge binder back here of Naruto, like 100
still have
episodes
it?
of Naruto. Yeah, that I burned myself.
Date
all
Bio
on
subs, I
CDs.
bet.
Yeah, Date Bio. Yeah, downloaded from NarutoFan.com. Yeah.
Yeah. These are the good old days.
I remember
it's way better now.
like Ken said he did. I also like drew my own covers on some of the CD or DVD cases. I was like so proud. I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
So I had those, and that was the first way I experienced GT, because I got those when the Boo arc was just starting to air on Toonami. Well, I should say just like the tournament stuff, the Great Saiyaman stuff. And I got those, and I'm like, see you later, TV. I'm just coming home from school, and I'm going to watch like fucking 15 episodes at a time, and it's going to be the best. And I made it through Z. I watched all the movies, and I made it, I'm not sure if I actually watched all of GT or if I just skipped some bits because I'm like, whatever, this sucks. I'm just going to move forward. But then I picked up the Green Bricks. It was the season 1 and 2 combined set that had come out 2010 or so, and I bought those
this right here.
Yes, that's
Are you
the
pulling
one.
out of your ass?
Yeah,
Mine's currently
came
in the
prepped.
Mine's currently in a closet packed up because I have everything ripped to a media server. So
I bought them.
Yep.
I bought them like that. I bought them
Yeah.
when they were individual because I was an early adopter, and then I let them to a friend who then returned them back to me and not pristine condition that I gave it to him. That's when I cut off all like no friends can borrow this ever again. Plus that friend is no longer a friend.
Dragon Ball GT ruins friendships.
And it was and it was just GT, so I wasn't actually that upset. I was like, it's just GT. It's just a green brick, whatever.
right. I will say though, when I watched it in 2010 on my Green Bricks, I was like, this is much better of a viewing experience than watching real media files that were clearly VHS
upgrade.
rips with tracking issues and hard to read subtitles because of contrast problems. And yeah, man. But I don't know, like I liked it. I think GT was always this sort of big thing that I looked forward to, because the first thing that I got with the branding was I got the PlayStation 1 game, and this was when we were just cycling through Raditz to Raccoon over and over again, and I picked this up and I'm like, who are all these characters, and like, what is GT? Like, oh shit, Gohan's an adult, like things get wild later, I guess. So
I never got those games, but yeah, that must have been awesome.
It's so weird, I think we've talked about this before, but our experience of the age that we were at when we got into Dragon Ball was that we immediately could spoil ourselves on the entire series. We didn't have the benefit of like getting to naturally find out who Vegito was, right? Like when we got in the series and we were on Namek, we knew something was wrong because there were supposed to be episodes coming after when we would loop back to Raditz, like we knew about Cell, we knew about Boo, we knew about GT, and it's just like, it's so agonizing.
That's kind of the unfortunate part of it, is that for me, because of that, it felt like checkpoints to me. I didn't enjoy the broader story because I was always like, oh, I can't wait to get to when Trunks is revealed. I can't wait for GT specifically. I can't wait till we see Super Saiyan 4. So a lot of the in between stuff, I took for granted. I didn't really like engulf myself. I'm just like, okay, yeah, let's keep going until we get to the Super Saiyan 4 stuff.
I think Doug, you talked about how we're former dubbies in this household, right? And I know for a fact I was using the phrase Kaioshin long before Funimation ever got to the Boo arc.
Oh, really?
And so when they started throwing around Supreme Kai, I'm like, nope. Don't like that.
You
It
were
should be
Kaioshin?
Kaioshin. Yeah. And so that was like the beginning of the end for me. Yeah.
I was Supreme Kai until I think Mike mentioned that the Kaioshin voice actor was in Otakon, and like I'm like, who's Kaioshin? Oh, Kaioshin was there. Cool. Like I live near Otakon, so it was like cool to hear that story of
Yeah.
them being the fire drill being pulled on them or whatever, and having to do a whole convention outside.
Slight tangent, I guess, for that. I was a Dubby boy, and then I imported games. I had Final Bout, but that was the English version. It had an entirely different English cast, which was very
mostly
fun and
Steve
strange.
Bloom, right?
Yep, exactly. And then and like Lex Lang as Gohan, which is real wild because then Lex Lang went on to voice Goku in the Bang Zoom dub of Dragon Ball Super, which is strange. But then I also got Legends. Well, not the mobile game.
This is what we OGs call Legends, Dragon Ball Legends. This is the PlayStation.
When you say Legends, you think of that.
Yeah. Some mobile game using Xenoverse models. Get out of here. All right.
Yeah.
No, not me. I didn't have a PlayStation. I was Nintendo, so all these games just went by me, and I think of Legends the mobile game when you guys say that immediately.
Oh no, it was a PS1 game. Did not
Saturn.
have an English. Yeah, and Saturn did not have an English dub. So it was, I think that was my first exposure to Dragon Ball in Japanese, and I played that game so fucking much and loved it, and I liked the cast. And then when I got my fan subs, I was like, oh hell yeah, this is the way it was supposed to be. And that's kind of when I fell in love with that. And so then GT has always been a Japanese only thing for me. The only time I've ever seen it dubbed was one time I was working at Target in high school, and I went into the break room to have dinner, and somebody was using the TV to watch GT. And I was like, oh, this is what the dub is like? Weird.
Oh, so you're a former team member too?
Yeah, sure am. Holiday 2004 to February 2005.
Oh, yeah, because I worked there 5.5 years and got promoted up. It was terrible.
Oh, I was seasonal, and they elected not to keep me.
So I've only seen, how many times have you guys seen it subbed and dubbed? I've only seen it dubbed.
So prior to 2017, I had only ever seen any of it dubbed. And then in 2017, aside from the real media clips, and then in 2017, I started trying to rewatch or watch the series proper, but I only got like 20 episodes in and fell off.
Okay.
But I watched it, Japanese.
I was gonna ask, how are we going to be watching it? Because I know that, if you're used to the dub and things, if that's a thing that you're going to do, like, Ken, sometimes you bring the dub experience, and I'm like, this is great. I like to have this.
That was a special episode that I had nostalgia for.
Yeah, nostalgia will still be there, but I'm excited to watch it again because I haven't seen it in Japanese, and I want to see it.
Okay.
See if it at least helps the blow of what a story it is to at least be able to hear Masako Nozawa's amazing performance.
So I'm counting on you, the listener, if you're going to be watching along with us and telling us what you think about GT. If you're watching it dubbed, I want to hear what you have to say, because I'd love to hear, that point of view, because I won't be experiencing it that way, but I think it adds to the conversation, which is always fun.
And Dan and I will let you know.
They did do the audio treatment where you do get the original music with the dub on the new.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. So you're not tied. If you want to listen to Stephanie Nadolny as Goku, you're not tied down to
the Mark Menza stuff. Yeah.
Now,
why do I know that name too? It's like I think I was so mad at the music. I was like, well, this music sucks. Yeah. Who's responsible?
He's infamous. So I could not tell you who did the music, the Japanese music, but Mark Menza is infamous.
Also, it's like alliteration, like what is it called? Whatever, just Eminem for it's Mark Menza. It comes off, rolls the tongue off easy.
You looking it up real quick?
I was trying to look it up, but then I forgot to put in Japanese. So it's like, here's some stuff about Mark Menza, and that's what
great. Yeah.
Google serves up as like the top thing of like, it's Mark Menza who did that, and I'm like, that's not correct. He did the score for something.
One of the catchphrases that's always attributed to GT that I'm looking forward to, I'm always going to keep in the back of my mind as we watch it, is that it's the great ideas, bad execution. That's what everyone always says about. Yes, Randall.
It's Akihito Tokunaga. I always forget about Tokunaga.
Yeah, that's right. People always say good ideas.
I think it was Mike that coined that phrase.
Really?
I remember. I remember in a podcast him saying from G2EX. He said that. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that's exactly it. He nailed it.
So that's going to be in the back of my mind, setting expectations as we watch, and it's going to be interesting having seen Super, because I think you could say that exact same thing about Super. Like, the great idea, we're doing a new Dragon Ball series. Oh, but it's going to retell the movies. Okay, well, then we're going to meet characters from another universe. Okay, but it's a pretty lackluster tournament and nothing really comes of it. Okay, well, then we're gonna see Future Trunks again. All right, well, it's a dumb mystery and it doesn't make any sense. And guess what? At the end, Goku presses a button and the universe disappears. Okay,
I love this.
We're going to do another tournament. Okay, but it sucks. It's 50 episodes of crap, and then the series ends. So,
who is this 80-year-old man you're channeling?
It is my very bootleg Mr. Plinkett impression.
That's great.
But
Mr. Plinkett.
So, great ideas, bad execution applies directly to Super as well, and so that's something that's going to always be in the back of my head as we watch GT.
I use that.
Which one of these is more offensive of being a good idea with bad execution? And we'll see.
We'll see how that goes. Because this will be my first time watching it with Super in the rearview window. Because mirror, it's a rearview mirror, Randy. That's what's in the cars.
Sure.
So it'll be I think it's going to be hard not to do a compare and contrast for Super, since we've all experienced that too, and all of that. I don't know, man. I'm kind of excited. I'm currently in the middle of rewatching Super. I watched an episode just before we hopped on to record.
Really?
I don't know, man. Like, I just like Dragon Ball. Even if it's bad, I like it. So we'll see. That might change. It might be 3 months in and be like, guys, I bought a gun. I'm going to kill myself.
But I always forget how much I love Dragon Ball just in general. Whenever I start making an AMV, I need to look up clips, and then I end up just like, instead of skimming through, I just start watching episodes. Like, oh yeah, this show is fantastic.
I think there'll be highlights and lows. There just might be more lows than
I think
highlights.
Also us watching it and talking about it later will help lift it up too.
Right. The last time I watched it, I kind of watched it in alone. Like, I just watched it by myself.
GT.
Yeah, I wasn't in college anymore, so I didn't have nearby friends who were super big into it to talk about it with all the time. So it's kind of like, well, this is where I live, and I think about GT all the time until I move on and do something else. Is there anything else that we want to talk about for our relationship to GT prior to jumping into it?
It's just something. Go ahead.
I don't think I had friends that were super into Dragon Ball at the time either. I don't think it was until like later and after college and everything that I got to actually discuss Dragon Ball with people. But no, at the time, so it was like you, Randy, I'm just watching this alone, and it's dumb. Let me just hear what Daizenshuu EX podcast has to say about it.
That's right. I was listening to them at the time when I was doing that watch through in 2010. But Ken, you had something to say.
GT has just always had a weird feeling to me, right? Like the music's different, whether it's even from a dubby perspective, right? You watch Falconer and then it switches to Menza. And like, that's even something like when they did the Ultimate Uncut episodes and you go back and watch those, they're like, something's not right here. Even though the Ocean episodes had different music.
Yeah.
It was still kind of like a more of a sensible like continuation of that into Falconer a little bit.
Yeah.
Menza is like a totally different feel. And
like super dramatic for like just tone deaf.
Yeah, and on the Japanese side, you go from Kikuchi to Tokunaga, and Tokunaga is like very like MIDI-ish and video gamey sounding, and just
now the kids use MIDI right now, but yeah,
we'll get into Tokunaga, I'm sure. I think he's a one-hit wonder at remixing Dan, but other than that, I don't really care for his music.
Man, what a hit. Dan. They use like till this day for on GT related stuff. It's great.
Yeah,
to be fair,
great track.
Yeah, it slaps. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, so but it's just always felt it just feels off brand. It feels like bootleg, and I'm interested to see how I feel going through it this time. Knowing everything I know, I have not seen all of GT in one run, and I've not seen every episode of it, but I feel I still have a very intimate knowledge of the series just from wiki work and everything. So I'm looking forward to picking up a lot of context along the way. But I'm just interested to see if that kind of like gross feeling goes away from me.
I don't know if it will, man.
Look, I'll be there washing the gross feelings off of all of you.
I should say though, I've always loved Super Saiyan 4. I don't want to.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
What I'm saying here, and I'm keeping an extremely open mind going into this, but I love Super Saiyan 4. I love the idea and look of Baby. I love Super Yixing Long. You can see several of them behind Doug back there.
Shut up.
I love the characters in this. It's just like the whole feel of it has always been off to me.
I get you.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited for it, but we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with what you guys had to say about your relationship with GT and probably some other stuff. So look forward to that. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back from that fun little break, and we're here to go over some tweets that y'all responded to about our thing. I can't put together a sentence at all. We put out a tweet asking, some basic questions. When was the last time you watched it? Will you ever watch it again? Do you like GT? Does it hold up? Just some basic things to see what you guys thought. So we've got some tweets, and the first one up, Ken, would you mind reading this one from Tyson?
Yeah, so Tyson T. Hallams, friend of the show, he was out over at my house just the other day. He said, rambles incoherently. Yeah. He says, rambles incoherently about the awful colors of GT's D-Box Dragon Box release and how much it harmed the perception of GT's visuals. I did press Tyson about whether this also applied to the singles releases, which predate the GT Dragon Box, but it still remains to be seen. I can't tell you the last time I watched any footage from these things, so I don't know what Super Saiyan 4's fur looks like. But what he's talking about is that the colors are all bad across all of Dragon Ball Z and GT, and especially the Tournament of Power and Super. But in GT, the Dragon Box release of it, Super Saiyan 4 Goku is like more pinkish looking when he's really supposed to be more of a deeper red. So it's
really?
Yeah, he and I had a conversation recently where he had brought that up, and I had asked, I was like, I had said, maybe I should just do some color correction so I can just take a look and see what GT is supposed to look like, because I think I had said during Mario Kart. Yeah, I think I had said during Mario Kart, like, I don't like the color design of GT. And he's like, well, that's because you have not seen it color corrected. I'm like, well, then show it to me. And he had some examples, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that looks way doper.
Oh, man, now I want to see that version instead. I don't want to watch GT again. So let's just wait until we get that.
Nah, man.
Yeah, we won't be watching the color corrected version, unfortunately.
Dang it.
But if you're listening to this in the future, maybe.
Let us know.
So I'm going to take this one from Mike at VegettoEX, who says, when was the last time you watched it? Checks notes, July 2018. Will you ever watch it again? Yes. Angry face.
Why is that?
We can get into that. Do you like GT? And he says, in the moment while watching, no. Thinking back, yes. And does it hold up? It's a more genuine and authentic sequel than everything other than Battle of Gods. So the angry face. The reason I think it's an angry face is because, he, running the Kanzenshi podcast, does the Dragon Ball GT review of awesomeness.
that was not when I wrote that tweet, that was not a slight at him at all.
But that's why I think he put the angry face. Yeah. It's like, oh man, I haven't finished that yet. It's like, unfinished work. It's frustrating. I'm sure. Life happens, So that's what I wanted to throw in there. But the do you like GT? In the moment while watching, no. Thinking back, yes. And I'm sure that's how I felt in 2010 when I was watching.
I like that, yeah, because I think that is how, like, there's so many, like, I just think of the good times for the most part. Well, no, I think of both, honestly, but I remember bad times and great times. I think that's the takeaway that I come out with.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's better to remember the good stuff. All right. Doug, will you take this one from Scott?
Sure. Scott says, a year ago, for the first question. He said yes, he'll watch it again. I know they have flaws, but I love the Baby Saga, and the Shadow Dragon Saga has cool villains. And yes, but the dub has really annoying dialogue compared to the sub. That's one thing I want to see, because I'm sure, I don't know how much Funimation changed they weren't on track yet. They weren't like hiding themselves and like actually sticking to the script, right? They were still trying to do their own thing and make it Americanized, if I remember correctly.
I don't know, man.
Can
I
you
only
remember?
saw that one episode in Target in 2004.
It is my understanding that the script is really off in the GT version, and I know there's something
Gotcha.
about the way that some line is handled, like when Goku comes back with the Super Ultra Genki Dama. There's something in there that's like a really just random line they added in that totally changes the mood of that scene.
Huh.
But I couldn't tell you
Well, that's
exactly
something to look
what it
forward
was.
to then.
If any of us watch that version.
Could always go back and spot check for certain lines. Be like, all right, what was the deal going on here? Ken, will you take this one from Jacob Sawyer?
Yeah. First of all, Jacob Sawyer, I just realized you're in the Concentrons channel on the Consensu's Discord server through Patreon. So shouts out. When was the last time we watched it? He was watching it while listening to the back catalog of all the Konsensu podcasts last year. Hey, Mike,
Hey.
there are people who would want you to continue that show.
Yeah. Angry faces on one, buddy. Come on, be happy.
Jacob says he has not seen all of it. He will watch it again, maybe with us. He does like GT's ending, which I think that's a thing you'll hear from a lot of people, is that GT just has an incredible ending. However you feel about the rest of that series, it's like that ending. I know even for me at the time, I would say I would like GT's ending more than Z's. I don't know if I feel that way anymore, but yeah, GT's ending is pretty top.
I will say every time I've watched that last episode or the little ending part of it, I tear up every time. So like it has more of an effect on me than the ending of Z or anything like that. So
the music, the montage, it is kind of weird. I think the part where it goes from, I think, King Piccolo being killed to then straight to the androids. It doesn't do anything between like the Namek saga and the Saiyan arc, right? It was like a really jump between that. I was like, wait, I want more memories.
Their flashback pacing.
You're missing some of the great parts.
Piccolo
but it was
Jr.,
cool how
Vegeta,
they redrew. They redrew the whole Goten and Goku meeting scene.
Oh,
like they
thankfully.
That. I know. I was like, yes, perfect for my AMVs to include, and yeah, I didn't realize it until I was looking for AMV footage. I'm like, I remember this looking a lot better. And I was like, oh, it's from GT, cool.
Yeah, got to source it from there.
And then Jacob says that GT
I also like
sometimes holds up.
Sometimes.
I was gonna say that I do like the ending credit songs for GT too. Like, I don't think I saw them. As the dub, they didn't have the ending like that. But when I watched the Japanese version of the ending credits, it's like, Goku walking forward in all his forms, and then like him walking in Super Saiyan 4. It just looks so cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, I remember at the time downloading Blue Velvet, and not the David Lynch movie, but the song, and not knowing that it was a GT ending, and just being like, "This is the sickest shit," but not knowing, where really the context for it. Same thing with like Hikari no Willpower, I didn't really know what it was. I just knew this was like, I'm going to use this phrase lightly, but the most metal Dragon Ball songs,
They're all good, man. We'll have to do a ranking of GT ending songs, because I think, aren't there 5? Am I remembering?
Are there that many? Really?
4 or 5.
Yeah. This was the era in anime where they switched over to anime being like a way to promote artists, which it's still in that kind of state today, and it's kind of gross. But I mean, like, you think Zenkai Power, right, was 200 episodes in Z.
Yep.
Same with Chala, right? And then you had
you go watch
Power, and
you go watch Naruto, and they change it every 25 episodes or whatever. I'm like, oh man, I kind of wish Dragon Ball had that.
Yeah, and I probably speaking out of my butt here, but I think it's like due to studio relationships and stuff. They want to cross promote, and it's all about brand integration, guys, and synergy.
Keeping it fresh.
It was for watcher attention, like, oh, new intro, let's go.
I wouldn't be surprised. It could also be that, because these kids are on their phones today. Let's Pokemon Go to the polls, you guys.
I'm going to take this last one from the Iron Fjord. New face, not someone I've seen respond to tweets, so I like that.
That's what they say. That's Toei.
Yeah. Responding to when was the last time you watched it? November 2019 to February 2020. Would have finished it sooner, but I had to take a break halfway through Baby because it was shit. I like how very specific you are for the time, just like I was, because I was like, it was like December 2010 to like February 2011.
You guys have like notes.
Yeah. Will you watch it again? Probably in like 5 to 10 years or so. Hey, it's been 13 years for me, so that'll be we're kind of on the same wavelength there in terms of time in between. Do you like GT? It's aight. And does it hold up? Lol, no. So I'll be interested to see how I fall on that. It's going to be a grand adventure for
I love how
all of
everyone
us.
responded to the questions like bullet point. Was that your intention, Ken?
No,
When
my
you make this
intention
tweet?
was just to kind of give people a ballpark we were looking for, but I mean, it also worked out to answer the
I like it.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I knew if I left it too open-ended, we'd get all sorts of stuff and
That's
people
true.
comparing Super and GT, and it's like, no, I'm sure we will do that later.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to focus it a little bit.
So, Ken, you said you have one trivia question.
Yeah, I just have a real dumb bit of trivia. What is the
great.
only episode of Dragon Ball Z to feature Dan in it?
Z?
Yes.
Oh, I'm say 291 for the next episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Dan plays over the next episode preview. Yeah.
That makes sense. I forgot that had that.
Yeah, man, they gotta advertise what's happening next week.
It was the week after. Yeah.
Just continuous.
Wow.
That's how it went.
So they were like mid boo, and we're like, Toriyama's ending it. We gotta start making a new series now.
We got to keep this gravy train rolling. Keep that money coming in.
I think Mike has actually been doing a lot of research into when GT was announced and its production schedules and stuff. So
that'd be interesting to know.
He spent a lot of money buying a lot of different magazines to figure stuff out. So I'm sure that coming down the pipeline at some point.
Yeah, and there's probably plenty you can find out checking out consensu.com as it is. There's learn a lot from there. So we got to talk about it, guys.
Yeah.
Are you coming out?
Yeah. Yes.
What is that? What is it? Is that from The Office? I'm coming out hetero.
Yeah. So this part of the conversation, if you're not interested in Zelda at all, you could tune out right now. But I'm sorry, we've all been deep into it. Maybe not so much Doug. He's living actual life, but we got to talk a little bit about Zelda. Oh, of course there are figures. So of course Doug is all in on Zelda.
Oh my god.
Doug, I'm going to keep this spoiler free for you, but this game has all of the amiibo costumes that you can just find.
Right. I did my research before buying the amiibos.
Oh, okay.
I know that. I know the paragliders are the one kind of exclusive things that these things have to offer. But also I follow an account that shows this is available now for the base price. So I didn't overpay for any of these. I got them for $16 each.
I'll hold up my
this
amiibo
one came.
now.
Hey, Ancient Guardian. Oh,
right,
beautiful.
That's awesome. You can't get that anymore.
I got him. And I got the wife. I'm holding up a Guardian, and then the Smash Bros. Toon Link, and then I've got the waifu Urbosa here. You got to have the waifu.
Wow,
good choice.
Yeah. Amazing. I think I had prior to this. I had just Woof Link, and that's it.
See, I've got everything you've shown except for Smash Toon Link. I actually might have it, or did I? I might have gotten rid of a lot of amiibo a couple of years ago. I'm not using these. Yeah, I'm just not doing them.
Put them in storage. What do you mean get rid of?
Because I have that one still.
Yeah,
I've got
this
a
is the
bunch
best
of them.
amiibo.
I've got them all in the
Is
living
it really?
room.
Yeah,
So.
Doug, he has bendy
not
arms.
I know.
I'm not going to.
I just wasn't
but I'm not going to bend them. But
it's cool.
Zelda, man, is so good. I got my playtime today, and it's you've played over 65 hours. That's a lot.
God, dang.
Of
It's
Zelda.
only been what, a week and a half, 2 weeks?
Yeah,
11
a
days.
couple of days. Yeah.
I think I'm right behind you in timing, but I am right at the end game. I am at the part where the game
Really?
is telling me to go just go fight Ganondorf.
Okay.
And so, and I don't want to yet.
Yeah. Doug,
I don't
how
know.
far are you?
Okay, I haven't gone any temples yet.
Okay.
I am on Hyrule Kingdom. I'm not on the sky intro
Okay.
part anymore, which so pissed me off that I missed the third intro shrine. Like if you don't, they wanted me to build a tree pillar up to the thing. I was looking for a path, and of course I jumped down a place of no return because you can't climb ice anymore. So I had to traverse the entire counterclockwise map all over again. Which actually, once I did it again, it didn't take that long because all the enemies were already killed by me prior, and I knew where to go. But still, it was annoying to have to do all that. But no, as soon as I landed on Hyrule Kingdom, I turned off my map, the HUD, just so I could explore the game how it's intended with just following road signs or like talking to people and like, oh, you want to go to Kakarot Village? Just follow that circle in the sky. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I think that's why I'm taking my time with it really and just exploring. You know, it's been a treat.
So
I'm not super in love with it yet, but I do love it. I do love returning back to this world.
So I've been listening. I listen to a couple of gaming podcasts, and they always have at least one person on there who has been like, "I'm playing pro HUD, turn all that stuff off," and they all have some serious issues because there are some functions in the game that are not told to you except for at the bottom when you're doing something. Like one guy's like, "I played for 40 hours and I didn't know I could break things apart." You know, when I'm using the Ultra Hand, I didn't know I have to shake things back and forth to break them. I didn't know, so I was like, "Well, if I screw up this fusion."
Wow.
Yeah. So
I think I did it right then because I turned it off after the tutorial stuff.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, I know how to do what so far I have.
Right. Okay, good. Because that I was like, oh yeah, glad I didn't do that. I'm just keeping all that on.
Where does the game want you to go as soon as you land on Hyrule Kingdom? After you go to the
wherever
to the Hyrule Castle to talk to dude, and then you open up the first tower. Where does it want you? Does it want you to go east,
northwest?
Because I went west.
It wants you to go to the Rito.
Yeah. Because that's also where you're gonna. Yeah, if you want to go northwest because that's also where you're gonna run into Impa, and she's gonna give you the Dragon Tears.
That's also that's where you start the Lucky Clover plot.
Yep.
Okay. Because I was just thinking like, oh my god, whatchamacallit, what is the little girl that grew up now? She was always an old lady, but she was a tiny girl in the new game.
Yeah.
Purah, yeah. I was like, oh, Purah's older? I want to see what Paya looks like. I want to see what my waifu looks like. So I went like, let me go to Kakariko Village immediately. So that was kind of the way I was going towards.
Now, did any of you guys play Age of Calamity?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
And I played it all the way through.
I did. Did you play the DLC?
I don't recall.
In the DLC, you can play as Purah.
Oh, I don't.
I loved Age of Calamity. I'm a big fan of Musou titles. And Hyrule Warriors one especially, and I loved Age of Calamity.
A Dynasty Warriors game? That's what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it for probably like 30 hours. And then after that, I was like, I just want to get through the story. I don't want to play this anymore.
Oh, I'm sure I probably have like 60 or 70 hours on it. I love it.
If it was co-op, that would be so awesome. Like I love Dynasty Warriors for the co-opness.
I think it is.
The only,
I can imagine it runs so badly just with one player.
I think the only co-op Musou game is the One Piece one.
Oh, okay. I thought they were all that way, and I'm the kind of guy that like I just want to play things single player.
Yeah, let me know if I'm wrong.
They're built for co-op, like the whole gameplay serves itself to. But yeah. But wait, why'd you mention that? Is there story stuff in that?
Purah.
She's young. She's younger in Age of Calamity. Because this takes place 100 years before Breath of the Wild, and it's a really cool story, especially coming off of Breath of the Wild, which had like no story. Getting to go back to that world and spend time with characters who were already dead by the time you play Breath of the Wild, and it's a really neat game.
I will say I disliked the thing as you're playing through the story, like, oh wow, this is so great. I get to play with all these people that, sacrifice themselves, and then it goes into non-canon territory. I'm like, oh man, I thought this was an actual prequel. Now it's just bullshit. I don't like this.
So that's the cool subversion of expectations, I think.
Cool subversions. It was a disappointing subversion for me.
Yeah. So spoilers for Age of Calamity, because I figure if you were going to play it, you probably have played it by now.
Right.
If you're listening to us talk about Tears of the Kingdom, and then I think you've already made your call on Age of Calamity.
You're already running the risk if you're listening to a podcast where they talk about that. So.
Age of Calamity, Zelda had like a little egg-shaped guardian like pet that when the calamity happens goes back in time and creates an alternate timeline, Trunk style.
Yeah.
That is what Age of Calamity takes place in. And in that game, none of the four champions die. And it's a really cool game. Really neat story.
Oh, okay.
Ganon is really cool in that game, I think. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Cool enough?
I think you did. But
a cool amount of times.
What is the dumbest thing you've done in Tears of the Kingdom? Ken, you start.
I mean, I would say every death I think is stupid in that game. But in like a funny way, and it's got really good checkpointing, so I'm never like that upset when I die. I'm always right back to where I thought I should be. Sometimes in a better place than I was because I wasted a bunch of items and then went back. But the dumbest thing I did, I think, was this is a game you think is pretty open in terms of how you can navigate it, but there is stuff you can sequence break and do early. And I did something early and I followed it to its like end point and then realized, oh, I'm not supposed to be here yet because I'm getting one-shotted like
that
crazy.
magical moment. Yeah.
So I just left and then I played like another 12 hours and in a more good progression and came back stronger and beat my obstacle, only to find out that I was still doing it out of order and early. So I think that the game lets you do whatever you want in however you want is both great, and then it's also kind of why I think maybe this isn't my favorite Zelda, because I think it's a little out of control, and I think it's just kind of like, don't get me wrong, this is still like a 10 out of 10 game, but I think I'm just kind of getting tired of being able to do whatever I want, which is a really weird thing to say.
Well, that's really weird, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd like a more guided experience. You want a story to be told point A to point B.
So, Randy, we won't spoil Doug, but we talked a little bit about the Fire Temple, and I hated it. I didn't understand the gimmick of it, and so I just, like, cheesed my way through it, and I don't like that I did that, and that the game let me do it. Like, it didn't force me to figure out what was going on. I was just like, well, screw this, I have money, and just figured it out my own way. So, like, my favorite Zelda game is Wind Waker, right? And it's just it's a more crafted experience. And
still with a lot of freedom.
Yeah, still with a lot of freedom. And Tears of the Kingdom reminds me of Wind Waker in all the right ways. The sky reminds me a lot of the Great Sea, with every different island being a puzzle. And so I just 10 out of 10 game, but maybe not my favorite Zelda game. And I'm still have tens of hours ahead of me. So.
What did you mean by like, oh, I'm still not supposed to be in this part? What did that ruin for you? Like that you were...
Nothing was ruined.
A story that it ruined?
No. I mean, it was just...
What felt off about it?
It was dumb because I was prepped to go... I had no issue going through... God, I have to speak in so many vagaries.
Right.
Going through as many steps as I did, right? Only to find out that once I got to the final step, that the game was kind of like, you're not supposed to be here. And to let you know this, we're going to kill you in one hit. And
I want to get further so I can ask you for specifics, because I'm curious on the path you took for something like that. Because I stuck with like, go northwest, go and like do this thing, and then once I got to the point, it's like, okay, time to go do your first temple. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go do a whole bunch of other shit right now, which is then going and doing all of the towers and getting all those unlocked, and then going and doing some armor hunting and doing some depths stuff, which is terrifying.
That freaked me out, man. I don't like going down there.
The depths were really scary at first, but now, how many temples have you done, Randy?
I've completed 3.
Okay. Doug, do you know anything about what happens when you beat each temple?
No, nothing
Okay.
at all.
So, Randy, where you're at, and I'm, of course, at a different level of this, but I have zero fear going into any encounter anymore.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not so much that, I don't know. There's something about it, the vibes of it, and like what can show up down there.
Oh yeah.
Like I was exploring yesterday, and I was just flying around in the depths, and I shot off like a bright bloom thing to illuminate, and I'm like, well, there's the boss from the first temple just hanging out here, and he's massive.
Oh, really? I haven't found that yet. That's cool.
And by first, I mean the Rito
The
temple.
Rito,
so,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, well, I don't like that, and I needed to get just a little. I need to get to that route over there. Please don't see me.
Oh gosh, that's cool. Oh man, I can't wait to encounter that. So I would assume that means they're all down there.
I fought the water temple boss down there just today.
I hate that. I hate that
that'd be so
guy.
scary to encounter.
Yeah, I hated that fight.
I mean,
but
because when you first go down the depths, or at least when I did, I still only had like just 4 hearts. So if you just accidentally hit the gloom or whatever, I'm like fucked. I'm like, oh no, I only got like 2 hearts left for the entire thing. So it's just like no. I'll come back down here when I have more hearts to do that. But
as I had been,
I love filling up my stamina. Are you guys a stamina boy or a?
So I have 19 hearts, and I'm one little segment shy of having 3 circles of stamina.
But what is your go-to when you first
stamina?
You're presented with the first choice of what to boost up first. Me too.
Yeah, I did 2 full wheels of stamina, and then I started pouring everything into hearts.
That's basically what I did as well. Well, I think I got myself up to like 6 hearts, and then I'm like, all right, now 2 wheels of stamina, and then back to hearts. And then recently I've been like, okay, I hit like 17 hearts, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna continue going back to stamina.
Because what I love about the game the most is just like gliding and like enjoying the view. And when you have only like 1 bar of stamina, you don't get to do that as far as you would like. But I'm trying to figure out how to unlock the sky tower for, I think, like near Kakarot Village. There's a dude in front of it who's like, the door it won't open, like it's just budged. There are mushrooms down in the cave that I like. I'm like, why are you telling me about mushrooms you like down in the cave?
Okay,
and I went in the cave.
The mushrooms have nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Think about go down there. So this is okay. So I was having trouble with the same thing, and I was talking to Tyson, and I said like, this game reminds me a lot of when you play Portal, right? And you play Portal for the first time, and you have a lot of difficulties like in that first hour because you're not learning how to think with portals yet. And so I was talking to Tyson later about how I was having issues with this tower, and then Tyson said, you need to think with portals, and then it clicked immediately.
You just rise. God dang it. I'm like bashing boulders, like, what is the secret around it? Dang it.
I did the same thing, yeah. You just got to think with portals, man.
Why does he misguide you with like, man, if mushrooms, I've had some mushrooms.
Yeah, he should have just said the caves below. He shouldn't have said anything about the mushrooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Damn it. Okay.
There's so much of this where I was like, I wasn't thinking with the tools available to me. Like I was just stuck in a Breath of the Wild headspace, and I wouldn't remember all of the new tools that I had. I was even doing the 3rd temple last night, and I was trying to get past this one section, and my husband Andrew was in here, and I was just trying to do something, and he's like, you're way overthinking it. I was like, oh, okay, because I like pulled out some Zonai devices now, and I'm like, maybe I do this, and he's like, nah, man. What thing did you just get? And I'm like, oh yeah.
I love that.
And it's funny because like 50 plus hours into the game, and I'm still like forgetting about the ascend ability. And I'm like, how am I supposed to get up there? And I'm like, oh yeah.
That's why I can never play this game. Like I can't imagine being a streamer playing this game because you constantly just like, no, I need to take my time, or I would look like an idiot to people playing this game. But yeah, it's fun discovering.
I'll fess up. I check guides for things because I want to, like, if there's a goal that I have, I want to figure that out. Like, I want to get this armor set or whatever. Or if I get stuck on something, I'm like, how do I even get to here? Like, I'll just look it up because, like, I don't know. I don't like
time. Guides. Even like when you put like an apple in front of a sakura tree, and the deer shows you like, oh, here where caves are. I'm like, no, I don't want you pointing that out on my map. No, I don't. I want to discover them on my own.
What?
I don't want that.
You can.
Have you found a sakura tree?
No, I've done
cherry blossom tree.
I've given dogs food, and then they go and they show me where treasure is.
No, there's one near the the main city or whatever that you first fall down into.
Yeah.
There's a cherry blossom tree with like a woman sitting down. Woman sitting down next to it. She tells you, oh, if you give it a fruit, so you put an apple in the little giving space, and then something happens. So
I didn't even, I didn't know that, and just I think earlier today I realized that if you talk to travelers, and because I usually don't talk to them because I don't want to start a
Quest
Yiga
line
clan. I don't want to start a Yiga clan battle, right? I'm trying to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but I just like randomly talked to one of them today, and they were like, here's all this clothing treasure on your map, and I was like, oh, I should talk to people.
Yes.
Yeah, man. There's just so much to this that's just, it's always surprising you. Like, I'm still 65 hours in, and there's just random things. I don't know about you. My TikTok has just been
Zelda.
So like I learned duplication tricks. My thing was I learned with the other day a really cool thing to build with Zonai devices that's really cheap, especially if you have auto build. That's just the air bike, and it's just 2 fans and a control stick.
Yeah,
and you aim
I
the
saw
fans
that on
this way.
Reddit. Yeah.
So yeah, and
I think we need to talk about item duplication.
Sure.
If you have this game and are interested in doing item duplication, it's incredibly easy. You need to go into your Switch settings and turn off auto update, because I guarantee you Nintendo's going to take this out.
I saw an update yesterday. You guys mentioned this, and I went and it said like, "Oh, there's an update for the game." I'm like, "No,
that one's
We're
fine.
not gonna update this game."
Yeah,
that one's fine.
That one's fine.
They haven't patched it yet.
They absolutely will. I mean,
as of recording, May 20th.
Because for the record, I don't want to use this glitch, but that's just because I feel like I'm still early in the game. I don't know how annoying the grind will be, so I'm keeping it just in case. I'm like, all right, let me get a little bit of the glitch going.
My mindset is like, people are like, oh, is it ethical to do this, or like first, and I'm be like, listen, I gave Nintendo $70.
Yes.
My blood, sweat, and tears. I handed it to Nintendo, and they handed me a 16 gigabyte file for my Nintendo Switch device. That is now mine, and I will play that how I see fit. Okay.
They would argue that, but yeah, sure, and all, yeah,
it's just a license.
Yeah, for me, it's not ethical. It's just like it takes the fun, like because I've done it with Skyrim. I told you guys to do it with Skyrim, and where I just get infinite carry weight, which also gives me infinite like strength or whatever, and it just ruins the game, the fun of it, the challenge. So I don't want to do that with Zelda. But if it helps me get some money, I guess that I desperately need, maybe. So I don't know.
I will say it came in handy for me. Yesterday I was exploring the depths and I ran out of arrows, and I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, wait, shit. I'm rich. Yes. So then I just kept going to each stable, go on and find Beetle, spend like 500 rupees on arrows, and I'm like, now I can go back.
Duplicate arrows?
No, it has
but
to
you
be...
can duplicate diamonds.
Yeah, materials that you can fuse to things is kind of what it is. But I will tell you, if you want to do it, don't do it with living creatures.
Yeah, they'll fly away or run away.
Yeah, I was like, I want these sticky lizards. I need a whole bunch of them to upgrade this one armor set. And I dropped like 5 of them. And they just went and just left. I'm like, no!
Let me reload a save.
Yep, that's what I did immediately. I'm like, I need those back.
They're like, we did it, boys. Get out, scatter.
Yeah, I did that with an energetic beetle, and I'm like, nope, I want him back.
That's hilarious.
But I think the trick is, Doug, that if you're gonna do it, set limits for yourself. Like I did it to give myself. That's fair.
This I've only collected a few figures. That was my limit.
You're right. Now, just the 2 or 3 that I like.
Sleep.
But it's it's fine, and I haven't done it really since yesterday, where I just did a whole bunch of stuff so I could upgrade some armor, because I didn't want to go hunting for all this stuff. But there's like so much other stuff to like discover and check out. I have not run into a single Lionel my entire playthrough yet, and I know they're
who knows if they're even around then.
I've seen 2. I saw.
He's gonna tell.
I saw 1. Well, I mean, they're not gonna.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I saw 1. He was like far away, and I was like, well, I'm not messing with him because I was weak at that point. And then I saw 1 in the depths.
Oh no.
Well, the thing about the creatures in the depths is that a blue Bokoblin is still a blue Bokoblin, right? He's not any stronger. It's just that when he hits you, you get the gloom effect. Yeah. So, when you're in the depths, really, there's no reason to be any more afraid of these guys just because they're like all glowing and red.
Don't get hit.
Yeah, don't get hit. It's all like, and if you do get hit, go in with stuff to help you with the gloom. or just hit
I
a light
still
route.
immediately the controls are still not intuitive like to my brain yet. Like it's still I freak out when I get into battle. I'm like, oh god, what's the jump? What's the dodge? What's the
Oh.
lock on? Like everything gets thrown out the window.
Yeah, the way I felt about it was like the temples were training me for combat. I really avoided combat for the longest time until I was forced to do it in the temples and felt more comfortable with it. And now it's like I see it in an encampment and everyone there is going to die.
See, I had asked you before, what's the dumbest thing you've done? And my thing is like I still get mixed up on some controls where I'm gonna blame it playing PC games where the A, B, X, Y are mixed around, and so I'm diving straight at the ground, and I'm like, hit X to open the glider at the last second so I don't die, and I'm like, nope, I hit the Y button instead of the X, and just poof, just immediately all my hearts are gone, just game over.
I did that.
Yeah.
I did that too with like from like the super high up in the sky, like, and so I did my glider, turned it off, and I'm like, okay, turn back on, and it's just me not hitting the right button. I'm like, turn back on, and then instead I hit the attack button because I'm desperately trying to figure out what button it is. So he just comes down with a sword from 2 miles in the sky and just kills yourself.
When I look at my hero's path in this game, it's straight lines everywhere because I'm just
the hero's path is here. Like it shows you where you've been. Oh yes.
You have to unlock it. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but
okay.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get that in the first game because that was like an update
DLC
that came out later.
Yeah. So
DLC, yeah.
In this game, it's just I look at my hero's path, straight lines everywhere because I'm going to a tower, shooting up, and then just gliding where I'm going.
Yeah.
It's very rare. Until now, but it was very rare that I was on the ground. I didn't see a wild horse for like the first 20 hours of my game because I was not running around in fields.
Wow.
No, I found myself using horses a lot in this versus Breath of the Wild where I just kind of didn't. And this time I was like, no, there's places I want to get to, and it's going to be way faster if I just go get a horse. And then I didn't know that I already had horses there waiting for me from my Breath of the Wild save, because that's the only thing that carries over.
Because I played mine on the Wii, so I didn't know that carried over.
Yeah, on the Wii U that wouldn't have transferred over then.
Yeah.
I did
horses
too.
For me. No Bruno.
I was like, I got it on Switch because it was like on sale for like $30 a few years ago at Thanksgiving. So I rebought it, and I played like half the game, and so I had one horse from that, even though it wasn't a completed save file. That horse transferred over.
Oh, it still counted.
Yeah, because I wasn't expecting any carried over horses, and I'm like, oh, Griffin's here.
You guys found like the Breath of the Wild, the big horse, the giant
Ganon's horse. Yeah, I haven't found him yet. I haven't found him. I had him in Breath of the Wild.
That's what I mean. I didn't see him in this one.
No, but I do have Zelda's golden horse. So
I just opened the quest for that today. I haven't gone through with it.
Oh, nice.
I was gonna ask, what did you name it? But I'll wait for that unless you already have a name picked.
Probably Impa.
Kenny.
I don't know. Yeah, Kenny.
Impa. Kenny. That's a good one.
Go by Kenneth.
Ask your horse, do you go by Kenny?
Yeah,
Zelda
go
can
by.
ride me all day.
Oh,
hey,
awesome.
baby.
I don't know. This game is great, but the problem is once I get so far in something, and like especially for an open world game like this where you have so many different things you can do, I tend to start to run out of steam of like, I just want to do the story because I want to know what's going to happen, and then I'll come back and I'll do other shrines and things. And I was thinking today, I was like, I gotta get through this. Final Fantasy 16 is coming. And I'm like, that's still a month away. I still have time. But then the problem
it's like
is
in a week, isn't it?
No, it's June.
No?
It's June 22nd.
Oh, really?
So I've still
Okay,
got
yeah.
So I still have some time. But then also I was in the middle of playing the DLC for Xenoblade 3, and I think I was just getting to the final boss there. But then, never mind. May 12th happens. Oh, that game got thrown out.
I play like one game a year, and this is it. So all my time is just being devoted. That's why I'm taking my time. I'm just enjoying the ride, man. This is a beautiful experience again.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, for me, the year ahead, right, what's coming out that I want to play. And I know I'm going to play Spider-Man 2. That's going to be a day one purchase.
Ooh, yeah.
And then if Rebirth comes out this year, then I'll be playing that. But like, it's
100%.
As far as stuff like with actual release dates, there is nothing that I'm looking forward to. But there will be stuff eventually, but nothing has like release dates for me.
Hopefully we'll find out this Wednesday. Is it? Wait, tomorrow,
Yeah,
right?
it's tomorrow.
The PlayStation.
As we if you're watching or listening to this, then you already know what was
Let's
announced
pull
at
the
the
curtain back.
PlayStation. Yeah. The state of the union.
State of play or whatever.
PlayStation Showcase. I think
They
is
have,
what
they got
It's a
their
showcase now.
branding,
Yeah, you're right.
Nintendo just has the direct
yeah.
and
Right.
the indies or whatever. They got two things.
Yeah. So it's not the things that are coming out besides Final Fantasy 16 for me. It's the stuff that came out already that I just haven't gotten to yet because I knew this was coming.
Yeah.
And also because of other issues. So I'm one of those guys that did not play or watch The Last of Us. And I was like, I'll just get it on PC and it's going to be real great. Then it launched bad. And I'm like, well, I've got the money in my Steam wallet. The second they have earned me paying them for this, I will buy it and I will play it. And now I saw that, like, okay, it's in a much better place now. There's still some work to be done, but I'm like, okay, this looks like something that I'd be willing to experience now. So I'm like, I got to jump into that. And then same thing is going to happen with Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I desperately want to play that, but it also needs to get into a better place where they'd be worth my money of paying for it. So
I just started playing Fallen Order because it was like $10 like a few months or maybe like a year ago. I bought it a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm finally now getting around to playing it now because of all for the new game. And I'm like, oh man, this game is great. But Zelda's coming out in like a week. But it's there if I ever need to go back on a different game.
So
Last of Us is great. It's a great
I
game.
know.
Yeah.
I'll
I've
get
watched
to
it a million times. Haven't played it. I haven't played it myself, but
Last of Us
watched
2
a million
is,
playthroughs.
Last of Us 2 is also great, but I think
Yes.
Last of Us 1 is just a tighter story.
Yeah.
It
feel
is,
that.
I think, overall the better of the two games, but that's not to discount Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2 great.
I also recently picked up Live Alive, came out on Steam, so I want to play that. That'll be a good time.
Yeah, I played the demo for that. That was pretty dope. The concept
yeah.
of it is cool.
And then I picked up literally everything Yakuza, so I should get back to that. And I think I'll do Zero next.
Your list of games, Randy, you're gonna die with the backlog. as
Yakuza
long
games
as your
are
arm, man.
pretty
It's
short
crazy.
when you start pushing through them.
If you're not gonna 100% them, yeah.
I'm not a 100%er. I'm usually like looking at howlongtobeat.com. I am a main story plus extras kind of guy. So
Yeah, Yakuza will be like how much you're willing to put into them. The only thing is that with Yakuza 0, you really need to make sure you do the whole Kabakura plotline.
sure, I will.
And everything else is optional, but I'm telling you, I will hold you accountable if you do
Okay.
not do the Kabakura stuff.
Randy, when you start playing that game, let me know because I'll start too because I haven't played it either and I own it.
Okay, yeah, we'll start with
That way
Zero.
we can it'd be
Yeah.
fun to talk about
I've
it.
played Kiwami 1, so I have some.
Me too. Same.
back-
I was in
Oh.
the same exact boat you were in.
You let
I
me
just
know.
played Kiwami 1 and that's it.
You let me know,
And I loved it.
and I'll start a new game plus.
Okay, we'll all
Hell
do
yeah.
it. I'm excited for
The
that.
new Kiwami podcast. Let's go, Yakuza.
Awesome. Is there anything else we want to talk about Zelda? We've been going at it for a bit, but like, if you got something else you want to spit out,
No,
I wanna hear
I'm glad we touched on it because I feel like everyone's,
Oh, yeah.
everyone's talking about Zelda right now. Like we go and look at
Mhm.
our friends list on the Switch, and it's like, I got one friend playing Pokemon Unite, and then everyone else is Legend of Zelda. So
There's always that one guy. There's
Yeah.
always that
Yep.
one guy.
I
Yeah,
get
I had
the-
to avoid spoilers because I'm so far back down. I had to just kind of skip by them all. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate how many things, little things that would have been cool to discover on my own. I accidentally saw in a video, but whatever.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
I've
that-
been on media blackout.
I watched that one that one showcase where they're like, "Here's what the Ultra Hand does," and I'm like, "Oh, cool! We're fusing stuff together." I'm already buying this. I don't want to see any more. From now on, I just want it to be a surprise. So
So that's the one thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And that's probably why I've been pushing through it so hard, is because I don't want, if I get through this fast enough, nobody can show me spoilers because I already know them.
Right. That's one thing I want to say about this game. The last thing I want to say about this game is that I don't want to be creative sometimes. It's just like, oh, build this contraption. I was like, I don't want to. There's one shrine where you had to build a paddle out of something so they could get across a bridge of water, and I didn't figure that out. I cheesed it and just through. There was a ladder. I just climbed up there. I just built a bridge to get up there.
There
But
was
I don't know.
there was one shrine I did, and it was called Stacking a Path or something like that. So it's like, okay, we've got these blocks. I want you to do this, and I didn't. I was like, I'm too smart for you, game. I put a block down, to like get up to the place where you finish the shrine, and I ascended through this other area to get on top. So now I'm above where that block was, and I brought that block up and I put it right in front of where I needed to get, and then I put it back down. And then I jumped on it, and then I recalled, moved myself up. I'm like, all right, cool,
but then
and I'm done.
It's like how Ken was saying earlier. It doesn't feel good. Like you kind of cheesed it. You kind of like didn't do it the way it was intended.
I feel I'm better than it.
You feel better? Okay.
I'm built better than this game. That's what they want me to do.
There's one part where
I'm like, no, I wanted to do it how the game wanted me to do it, but I couldn't figure it out.
There's one part where these like rock platforms were going across lava, and I kept dying because I couldn't get across this jump that you're supposed to make. So, but you can ultra hand these rocks on top of each other like a big multi-layer. They look like a multi-layer like mint Oreo.
Yeah.
And so I just did it so that they would hit something and stop going, and then all of the platforms would just collect instead of disappearing. And then I was like, okay, I made my path and walked across. I'm pretty sure that's not how you're not supposed to do it.
Right.
Like if it was moving down a flow, then
I completed the way I do it, and then I like YouTube how it was meant to be done. It's like, oh, okay.
I that's a dangerous path to go down because you'll be looking at everything you're doing in this game.
Yeah.
And then
probably
you may find out that cheesing it was the way you're supposed to do it all along, which is probably the case with that temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man. It's good stuff. I love Zelda. It's great. Hopefully by the next time we record an episode, I'll be done with it. Sorry. That's my goal.
Yeah, probably
I'll be done
too.
Temple 1.
Temple
1, here I come.
I don't want to beat it yet because I know if I beat it, then that's it. Nothing else I will do in that game would matter. Right now, everything I'm doing matters, right? Because I'm going to go to Ganondorf,
I know what you mean.
And I'm going to, I'm going to kick his ass, right? And so everything I'm doing now is building up towards that. But once I've kicked his ass, then it's like, well, why would I do these shrines? Why would I explore the depths?
I saved the world.
Yeah.
What's there to do?
When I played Breath of the Wild, I think I didn't finish all the shrines, and I went and I fought Ganon, but then like I came back later and I finished them all, and I got the special armor set that you get for that. So I'm just playing, and if it feels good, I'm gonna go do that thing. If I'm interested, I'm gonna go do it, and then I'm gonna defeat this game, and then I'll wait until guides are out that's like, here's where every single shrine is. I'm like, cool, that's a checklist now, and I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna knock out every single one of them. I'm not gonna look up their solutions unless I'm frustrated and spend 15 minutes on it.
For all the Korok leaf guys that are like, send me to my buddy, I'm like, I'm gonna put a marker and come back to you.
I don't even put markers. I'm like, good luck.
Yeah. I've been so focused on other things. I'm like, that sucks for you. And
that sucks for you, man.
If I come back, maybe I'll help you. But
no, I know in the future I'll be like, damn it, where was that one? So I need to make put kind of marker.
Oh no, for stuff, if it came down to that, I'd be pulling up a guide. I'd be like, where are all the Koroks on here?
That's fair. Well, guys, I think this is going to close us out. I want to thank everybody here for listening to us talk about GT and babble about Zelda. We love interacting with you and keeping you in the conversation, talking about our favorite franchise in the world, which is Dragon Ball. It's not Zelda. We do love Zelda right now, but just had to clarify. You can tweet at us at WeGotAPod, and you can email us at WeGotAPod@gmail.com.
Thank you again for listening. Please subscribe to make sure you get new episodes. VIII.
Oh, Doug, you skipped your part. You're the blue.
I know. I skipped everything. I'm like, as soon as you were doing your spiel, Randy, I'm like, oh god, that means I have to do something too. So I ran up to the template.
I figured.
First thing that was color that I saw, I read.
If you're watching the video version right now, this is all getting cut out of the Spotify version. But if you're watching the video version right now, you see the chicanery that happens when we record this.
Oh.
I turned to look at Doug's video, and I'm like, he is not even paying attention.
No, I had to minimize the video to look at the outline again. I was like, oh god. All right, here we go. I'm ready.
Hit us with it.
Thank you to Rifti Beats for letting us use this track, Kakarot theme hip hop trap remix. You can find that track and other great music by Rifti on his SoundCloud. We also want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Ken, where can the good people find you?
When you're not seeing me in Hyrule, you can find me on Twitter at DetectiveX.
Randy, what about you?
You can check me out on Twitter at Saber_Breaker.
And you have a podcast. Another one.
Oh, yeah. Revolutionary Podcast Utena. Go check that out. It's good stuff.
Now, you recorded those a long time ago, right?
Yeah. Recorded them late fall, early winter, or so 2021 to 2022.
So when is your next other podcast that you'll start plugging?
Oh God, I've
'Cause
thought
this is
about
no
it.
longer contemporary. You need a new podcast to.
You need another one, yeah.
Oh, man, I have enough. I got Zelda to play. I don't have another time for another podcast.
You can find me at Jabaz Doug.
Oh, is this me?
Oh yeah, it is.
Thank you again for listening. Please subscribe to make sure you get new episodes as they come out, and write a review because that helps us crawl up that placement ladder so more people see our show. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.